welcome lo first Media Watch for this fala year 2021. This fala program hemi one fala initiative lo Media Association of Solomon Islands, MASI, where me fala come together for discussing more the issues where hemi affect the media and also the issues where hemi making inside lo kata stories where come out lo media. So me fala barwa happy for come again this year for starting off now this fala first program lo Media Watch for this fala year. Now, inside the panel blow you me for this fala edition, starting from my right, you may got Ofani Eremae, one fala long-time journalist playing the country and also emerging leaders inside the media industry, Gina Maka'a, one fala board member, MASI too. And of course, on my left, we've got Elizabeth Osifelo, those two fala emerging leaders inside the media industry. We're going to by start with the lo panel lo this fala edition. And as usual, your host and also moderator below Media Watch, me, Gina Maka'a. Now, hemi only the first quarter of this fala year 2021, but so far for me fala lo media industry, already hemi been a busy time. Since January, me fala garam one fala a workshop, leadership development, where hemi would come with him support below UNDP through Transparency Accountability Project Solomon Islands TAPSI. And also me fala recently got one fala roundtable discussion lo media regulatory framework lo country, and also too awesome you fala watching this fala time this one hemi first edition lo Media Watch. Now for the leadership development workshop where MASI hemi been holem no long time go no more. This one hemi for okata leaders and emerging leaders lo media industry, where hemi mainly cover more the issues lo leadership as well as corruption. And me barava happy that lo here lo panel this fala time me garam lo program whereby okata participants lo this fala workshop, including me too, me participant lo this fala workshop, where plan is new something me fala learn, especially when it comes to leadership and also to corruption. So bye imi go around now lo table for asking more the panelists, but before that I think Amy must say thank you lo UNDP with him development through Development Services Exchange DSE for okata sponsor me or funding me lo this fala workshop lo leadership development, where this fala project lo UNDP lo tap hemi mainly or same one fala foundation where hemi waka under lo this fala anti-corruption strategy lo government, where main aim blo hem na for cut them down impact lo corruption lo country, and no doubt media hem no exempted when it comes to corruption. So Papa, you may start from this side of the table. I'll go first with you, Ofani. Mm-hmm. When we talk about leadership and corruption, what na hem meaning lo you?
Okay, thank you, Gina. To me, leadership and corruption have two big word for good, yeah. Words where me use him almost every day lo language blame me, time me right. They are words that they become part of our language, yeah. Me glad that MASI organizing that for a workshop on leadership and corruption, because a lot of times you may think that corruption have something happen out there. You may not realize him that within the very organizations where we work with him, corruption happen from time to time, yeah. And as leaders law media, leaders law newsroom, I think we have a responsibility for you blame too for managing and reducing corruption, because not something only happen out there within the government or within the private sector, but also within our own industry too, yeah. So that workshop where me involve me attend them, me sort of helping me, yeah, as a media and newsroom leader for understanding the responsibilities where we should take him and do him for avoiding corruption happening within the newsroom when we look after and within the industry itself. So the workshop help a lot enlightening me of media workers to realize that we have a responsibility not only for exposing and report law corruption, but to make sure it doesn't happen within our own circles. Yeah, that's what I can say on that.
Thank you, Ofani. I'll come to you, Elizabeth. You were you were a participant in this workshop for the whole 3 days where have been carried out. And as an emerging leader, like before you attend the session, do you see yourself, how do you see yourself, or do you ever see yourself as playing an important role when it comes to fighting corruption, especially your role in the media?
Thank you, Gina. I think first of all, this workshop by Migarem Law Leadership and Corruption timeliness plan that it was organized for people inside the media, Hembarava right on target because Hembarava the beginning of this year. So for me, as a journalist by profession, me looking as being in this area, imi garem a very big responsibility for imi play me as Ofani or Semiutalemia. These two words are very big words that in museum we write about it, we see it on television, and we talk about it nearly every day of our lives. But the thing too is that we always keeping power in check, but also sometimes we don't keep ourselves in check. So for me go through this one leadership training and workshop, me feeling that it really helped me as an individual, for myself too, as a person where me managing a team, and also keeping me in check in a way that I need to do a self-assessment on myself in order for me to preaching, or even before me to write about him or me to talk about him too, because we are seen as very influential people there in media. Yeah? So I'm always good to keep him first in check before we keep others in check. So as for me, this for a workshop, but really making me really pause for a moment, and then for realigning to the values that I have as a journalist, and also for me to understanding, or that I may be alert where I draw the line inside the everyday waka for me as a media person.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Gina, by listening to the conversation where we happened around the table this full time, what can you say on that?
Yeah, I think from one name Lisa and Ofani just mentioned him. Yeah, leadership and corruption, him to follow very big themes. Yeah, but then you inside law media, you may also we are seen as a very influential body law when it comes to reporting, especially on corruption. But then, like Lisa had mentioned him, yeah, you may inside Seleva too, you may how while you may report, you may Seleva how you may doing straight worker, or you may also engage inside a lot of corrupt practices. And I me just give him example what me mean now is like example if someone hear me come and give him stories blocketa, but then okata pay of someone like editor, maybe like pay editor, and then for say, oh, you know, running stories or same. So in the end, newspaper or radio or maybe social media or no running stories, yeah, and then you may continue for practicing what kind of without realizing that him in a sense also corruption too, yeah. And the workshop him bara timely as Lisa mentioned him, because while you continue for him one for a workshop where him first time ever for MASI him organizing for leader senior reporters and also editors inside the newsrooms. Yeah, so I think him journalists inside law or MASI as a body, should bara good for you. Me always keep him journalism in check, that you me always follow the principles of journalism.
Thank you, Gina. And I think one for the third day, this for the workshop leadership development where MASI Eremae, focus mainly lo SWOT. And SWOT, those when you SWOT, it's all about strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's called SWOT analysis, where the third day focus mainly on SWOT analysis and reporting on corruption in general. And some of the outcomes have been mentioned. Presentation been done, this analysis, and Ofani, you someone where you lead him one for the newsroom, having seen the outcomes of the SWOT analysis, what really stands out for you? Then you look him now, presentation done by the participants, analysis how you media, you report him corruption.
Okay, thank you, Gina. I think what really stand out for me is that leadership, good leadership is everything. Yeah, if leadership in newsroom or leadership wherever or different industries me fail for stand up and say no to corruption, I think we will be in for a very difficult and troubled time ahead. Yeah. So what I mean here is that if leaders law news industry leaders law newsroom editors are not doing what we should be doing. After all, we are guardians of news. Yeah? If we allow only certain news for go out and we prevent them others for no go out, then I think we are not doing justice to our people. We are not playing our roles as guardians of the news in a way that is fair, yeah, and we are not being good leaders, yeah. So after the end of the 3-day workshop way in Holemba, me realizing that good leadership is everything, and it has to be applied across the industry. Yeah.
Thank you, Ofani. Ofani, you raise a very important point, especially when it comes to media and reporting on issues where he deemed controversial. And thank you, panelists, for your insights. Leadership Development Workshop, where he recently held by MASI. Baba, you may come back to the second part of the program, where Baba, you may discuss more about the issues where affecting media recently, country. So we'll be back with more after this. Welcome back. You're watching First Media Watch program Blow Media Association Blow Solomon Islands, MASI, and me fala happy for come back panel this fala week. Go story with him you fala about him or share with him you fala some fala about the issues when affecting media industry. And once again, me introduce him what panelist play you me edition play you me Ofani Eremae, one fala long time journalist play you me lo country, him na far right table where me sit down lehem, and of course we've got two beautiful ladies lawyer, emerging leaders playing in the media industry, Gina Maka'a, who have me one for board member of MASI, as well as Elizabeth Osifelo, who have me sit on the left side of me, have me one for the emerging leader also inside the media industry. Now, recently, suppose you've been read lo media or you looking story lo media, one fella thing where me come out, where me put him MASI lo spotlight now. Hemi one fala issue where me highlighted by one fala local ministers blow Yumilo Crown, ministers of the one minister of the Crown. Where recently MASI, one fala MASI member hemi under spotlight for one fala story where hemi cover, and this fala story hem gutna yumi garema editor blow this fala newsroom where hem implicated inside blow this fala story hem lo here MASI hem no issue one for a statement, but however, MASI hem give him chance for members play him for respond lo this fala issue through this fala platform lo Media Watch. And for you fala we miss him statement where this fala minister hem make him a part where MASI hem interest lo him now hemi one minister hem tell him where him say that this fala journalist or so-called journalist how him put him hemi infamous for unethical and one-sided reports. Say there was a susceptible twist to the facts of the story to suit management's views. Say this one, indeed, one for a sad day for journalism, and MASI should do him something about journalists there before one for a reputable trade such as journalism brought into disrepute. Ofani being editor of the newsroom, and you've got a journalist implicated inside of this fella story as well. He's been called unethical and awesome. What do you have to say?
Okay, Gina, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, Alan Sun newspaper had me decide for appointing me as a new editor blog there. When I went there, time we go in there, one for issue where me come up quite and quite stand out at the time was this tubi, illegal harvesting of tubi law Isabel. So me assigning one of the reporters for dig a little bit and outcome story what it is all about. Now I did that based on the fact that I have quite a good understanding law issue brought to be here because last year me travel over St. George to do a story on the illegal harvest of tubi law there, and I did that for a international media organization, what call them Earth Journalism Network. So time me spending time there, me realizing that there were many logs, tubi logs that had me illegally harvested and being kept on, particularly on St. George Island. Those were illegally harvested and ought not take them out. So I did assign one of the reporters, Blomivalo Island Sun, to do a story on that, and at the same time, Mifala come across one fala directive from the Minister for Environment, where he direct them that those tubis that were illegally harvested on St. George ought to give him back for the Asian logging company where illegally harvest them, for sell them on behalf of the government. Now, when we did that, Minister of Environment him come out and accusing me for law one for a statement blame. I think those of you were aware of that for a statement. Basically, Minister him say, Alan San him doing him cover story and more, because managing director blame him involved. He's one of the landowners. And number two, what accusing reporter where him doing story of being unethical in his reporting. Yeah. Now, what I want to say is this: tubi, especially the illegal harvest of it, it's a national issue. Yeah, it's not any other issue here. It's a big issue, and as a newspaper, as a news editor, I think we have a duty to cover it. Yeah, people got a duty for report on it so that people know what's happening there. And for the minister to say, people are doing story simply because one of the managers of the newspaper had me involved law that for a logging issue back home. I think that was quite simplistic, and a diversion of an issue that we should be covering. Yeah. So, lo view me, Minister, I think he should understand him that this illegal harvesting of tubi, he a national issue where the media has the right to report on it. Him accuse him too of reporter Blomival of being unethical, and I don't know what he meant by that, because the reporter did all he could do, actually calling him and putting to him the question that he needs to answer. Now him no answer him probably no more. Then him turn back and accuse him reporter that the way him frame him question here, him no right here. Again, I think that is quite unfair, because law view me, the minister as a leader of this country, him got a responsibility for explaining why him take him or to be where or steal him, and hold him back, then I'm giving back the money I'm stealing for sell him on behalf of government. Now, I think that is unfair for other landowners there who what on him other logs here. Those are their trees, and I believe they have the right to it. I think the right course of action the minister should do is take him log here, walk away to other landowners, or not sell him to buyers out there. In that way, I believe the landowners will get a good earning from other logs here. Let me stop here for now, but
you don't want to mention
we can talk a little bit more on that a bit later. Maybe others can.
Probably by no good to say that, because case blow or the landowner and before court too, so for identify mo the landowner there, or the still no identify me, or the garamota pending issue outstanding case law there. So that would be one thing where Bagata Save say that that's the why or the disregard him or the landowner say, maybe because of the court.
It could be, but let me say one more thing. Law statement from minister him say him got power for sisi motor logs here, and him got power for decide who na for giving motor logs here for him for sell him. Nobody him question him that one. Mivalo Islands no question him the ministerial powers that that particular minister him got him. But in our view, those powers where other ministers me or any leader for that matter him got him should be used for the good and benefit of our people. Yeah. If him take him out the logs here and him give him for other landowners who are the rightful owners of those logs, then believe Lomivala, that's the right course of action where minister should do. Yeah. But instead, him take him logs back, then him give him back for the company that him illegally harvest them at the first place. Now, that raises the question, who not minister him save him? People or someone outside? Yeah. We believe, as we say, what the vested powers where administrators blame me got him, it should be used in a responsible, ethical, and moral way. And that is for saving people blame me than anyone outside. Because at the end of the day, the resource law country belongs to the people, not outsiders. Yeah.
Thank you, Ofani, for that. And yeah, it's such an awkward position to be in, especially coming from MASI, where we have no role to play at all in the story. But Minister hem mentioning MASI inside tulo statement plehem. And MASI hemi one fala body where hemi drive lo good journalism. And hemi happy for garam lo here chair lady blow training and building capacity building blog at the journalist play me lo here Gina Maka'a. I'm sure you've seen the statement where Minister hem make regarding the journalist and of course what it means for MASI. And for you, time you look in sweeping statement to Sam, what really comes to your mind?
Well, actually, of course, you me to feel affected lo this fala statement blow. I mean, MASI as a body, feel affected too lo this statement blow. This minister against him now one fala MASI member. But one okay, need for understanding now is MASI at this stage hemi try best for providing trainings and trainings for the journalist levels so that him save abide by the principles and ethics of journalism. Yeah, this fella one hemi board hemi like lo training committee hemi looking mo say one fella issue where you may need for step up more on and you may try for providing more trainings for continue for assisting more kata journalists blame inside law media association you may MASI hem believe lo change and change hem something hem nok come overnight. Yeah, hem take time for you me save for change and then for a betterment of a media association blow Solomon Islands and help them to kata journalists blame lo Solomon Islands. I think hem no ba mi save talem na this one.
Thank you, Gina. And Elizabeth, I think you've been listening to the discussions where have been made, and I'm sure you have your opinion or comments to make on this. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Just like for add just one little bit in terms of training MASI, as inside of this fella statement where one fella minister have put them out in regards to one fella for the particular reporters inside law area. Inside the media is that MASI have really has been doing a really good job in terms of training. I can say that for upskilling, upgrading Mokata media reporters, our journalists. One for something will come out also too from this for workshop or leadership here was some of the fine qualities that Mokata media people in Solomon Islands. We are very resilient people. We like to come back after setback. We always try to get back up. Yeah. So that is one of our strengths that we have as a media family in Solomon Islands. Now, the thing is that you see some of the skills you feel so empowered for you follow through stories, yeah. You have investigative pieces and then end up you go, you hit low one for a brick wall. There are repercussions that come with it, yeah. Or some maybe people might not happy lo you. You get abused where some for places where you call him or some so where does it stop? How do we, when we motivate our media people and they're going out and finding out these stories, and then sometimes go kasim enos mo ta hang lo e ano mana or so hem no mo one for comment or semi like put them out there. There's only so much we can do, and after that, like was some journalists you no deep sea selebana so it's I salute the ones who are always pursuing these really hard stories, but sometimes him really not easy. With the training that we have, we're so motivated, and then when you hit the peak, and then everything him just fall back in your face. So that one had one follow along the issues where I hope we will try and overcome one day.
Well, thank you, Thomas, panelists. The discussions today has been very fruitful, and I think we've come to the end of our first program, Lo Media Watch, for this fala year 2021. Milak say thank you to Masna Lokata panelists, Lo Yimilo here, Lo this fala program. Ofani Eremae, thank you so much for coming on board for sharing side Lo fala, especially Lo issue where may happen affecting you a newsroom Lo you, and also Gina Maka'a, chair lady of our training and capacity building subcommittee. Thank you so much, and Elizabeth Osifelo Osifelo from Media One. Thank you so much for ifalakam alo Media Watch play me. This one hemi the first for this year 2021, and of course we'll be back same time, same place next week with implanting more about other issues and stories will affecting media industry play me lo Solomon Islands. So until that time, moderator and host Media Watch, Gina Maka'a. Thank you and bye-bye.